Hey guys, I'm Doctor McFarland and welcome back to the channel. Here in front of me is the Fender Toemaster Pro, and we're going to look at foot switch assignments and how to get 2 amps on the same switch. So I see comments all the time in the Facebook group asking different questions, and this one is actually pretty easy. But if you're not used to the Toemaster Pro, and maybe you're coming from a Helix or a Fractal or a Headrush or a Kemper or a Quad Cortex, each one of these units do the same thing but slightly differently. So it just takes a matter of a little bit of learning and maybe reading the manual and just getting more accustomed to the workflow of a certain unit. So what we have to do is actually add a few elements to our preset, and then we can go into foot switch assign and show you how to do this. So first of all, you have presets called up on these 6 switches here. Then we have a bank up and down. And then we also have a foot switch mode, so we can actually see what is assigned to our foot switches. So let's go ahead and add some things to this preset. So hitting the plus symbol, let's just add in a Princeton reverb, and then we can also add in a half stack, and we'll do a double rec, just for fun. Okay, it doesn't matter really what order these are in, but we obviously do not want these to sound at the exact same time, otherwise we get this sound, which is not the greatest, but there is a way to alternate or toggle the Fender amp versus the Mesa Boogie amp. So what we want to do is press on foot switch assign, then tap on the plus symbol. We want to add an on-off option. So I'm actually going to choose both of these amplifiers, confirm, and now you can see it says multi on the switch because we've actually added multiple amps and or effects blocks to that single switch. Okay, so our color active A is red and our color active B is off. Then we can choose any other color that we have available here. So let's actually do a blue, and maybe I want my clean sound to be blue and my dirty sound to be red. So we are going to have this be latching, and we can have this have a custom label as well by hitting the plus symbol. I want this to be called amp XY. Kind of some terminology from the Fractal AX8. They call it XY switching, and I'm just using that kind of naming scheme. So going back, I can actually save this. I don't have to name it just yet, but I can just save it as empty. And now we can see if I press this, it actually bypasses both amps. So now what we have to do in the next step, I'm going to tap on this amp block and we're going to bypass it. So now my Fender amp is on. When I press my multi-switch or my amp XY switch, you can see the Fender amp turns off and the Mesa Boogie amp now turns on. So it's just a little tweak in the workflow, maybe from what you're used to, coming from another modeler, but it's actually quite easy, and you can do this with all kinds of other things. Maybe you want a certain switch to turn on 5 reverb pedals, or you want an A-B maybe between 2 different drive pedals, whatever you want that to be. So right now, adding the things to the preset and then assigning it to a switch is really half the battle. You now need to go in and tweak the volumes and make sure you're getting a nice smooth transition from one amp to the next. So what we're actually going to do now is go to preset volume, and we're going to raise this all the way up. And that's just something I like doing. And now let's listen to what volume we have for our Fender amp. Okay, that's a good volume. And let's check the Mesa Boogie. Okay, that one seems a little low. So we can tap on the amp, and let's raise our amp volume up to about 50%. Okay, we can exit back out, go back to our blue state for the Fender amp. Back to Mesa Boogie. Okay, if you really want to see where our levels are, we can look at the output levels or even our USB 1 and 2 level. So let's raise this fader all the way up to 0. We have a segmented LED going from green to yellow, so it's probably a good idea to adjust our levels based on the green going into the yellow mark. So if it goes into the yellow, we know we're a little too loud, just for our internal gain staging options. But if it's staying in the green, just kind of going into the yellow every once in a while, it's probably pretty good. So this is our clean tone. Okay, no yellow there. We are peeking into the yellow just a little bit on the palm muting. So we may want to go back and tap on the amp, and let's bring our amp level down just a little bit. Maybe lower the gain and lower our bass. We can keep the treble up, maybe keep the presence up. Let's check the mixer one more time. Okay, bring the amp level up. So I just saw a little yellow there, and that's perfectly fine with me. So reducing some of that bass and lowering the gain gave us a little less chug in the low end, which is perfectly fine. And then now we can check our levels one more time. So there you go, guys. That is a very simple way to add either 2 amps or multiple effects blocks to a single switch and kind of do some gain staging in the process to make sure that your different sounds are nice and level and you're not jumping all over the place in volume. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe down below and click the bell. And if you have any comments or questions, also leave those down below as well. I am Dr. McFarland. I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.